Senator Nwebonyi and Dr. Obi Ezekwesili are the exchange, and Senator Nwebonyi is live for us here in the studio. Senator Nwebonyi, thanks so much, seeing you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for the opportunity.
What really happened today? That was senatorial, if I could use that word, undistinguished. How would you shout down a woman? How would you shout down a distinguished member of the society, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, even at our age? Why?
Well, it is an action that brings up a reaction. And you'll hear from me first before you make such a erroneous conclusion. It's erroneous on your own side. Oh. And I'm here to give you
erroneous that she's a distinguished person?
And I'm a sitting senator.
Yeah, I made that
I'm a sitting senator.
So I'm wondering...
So listen to the action that brought to the reaction.
What made you do? And that's the question.
Today, we appeared before the Senate Committee on Public Petition. Senator Natasha was invited with her witnesses to come and prove allegation of sexual harassment against the Senate President. I was also invited as a witness to the Senate President to also rebut her falsehood, the false claim of hers. So it started when she was asked to be on oath, because she said she was a witness. He said, no, she can't be on oath. She can't take oath. So as a person, I said, okay, I'm willing to be sworn on oath so that I can give my own evidence. I was addressing the presiding officer, the chairman of the committee, and she turned to me and said, will you shut up your mouth? A sitting senator in the Senate, that I should shut up my mouth?
That's what aggravated you?
Yes. And I said, no, ma. Withdraw that statement. He said, will you shut up your mouth? You're a hooligan. I said, you are the hooligan. For a mother like you, a grandmother of your age, a former minister of the Federal Republic, to tell a sitting senator to shut up his mouth and to add that I'm a hooligan, then you are the hooligan. In fact, I went for her to describe her as a, in fact, let me not use that word again. No, but I respect her as a mother.
Yeah, but she went off the... But do you regret the scenario which played out?
How can I regret the scenario? I gave it to her.
But is that fair?
Is this fair for her to address me that way?
I mean, you could be offended, but as a man and as a senator, I mean, if you are offended, would you go in the same...
As a former minister of the Federal Republic, a grandmother, ask her first.
And I'm saying that it is human to err, yes. Without hearing...
if she erred, it is a male...
Without assuming that, I mean, to whatever allegations or whatever you said, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili said, yes. Because we've not heard from our side. Yes. But I'm saying that even if she offended you, yes. You have come of age too.
No,
if someone offends
I merely replied to her.
But you were emotional.
How can I be emotional? She was also emotional. Emotion jumps emotion.
But do you regret that kind of thing happening between both of you? This is happening on national television.
It's unfortunate that a mother, a grandmother, a person of her standard can be so moved by emotion to call a sitting senator a hooligan, and I should shut up my mouth. When I was asking for clarification from a presiding officer, I was not addressing her. I was talking to the Senate Chairman Committee on Ethics. So I have no business with her.
If she apologizes to you, would you also...
Of course I will. I'm a Christian, and this is a Lenten period. But you cannot insult me. You cannot abuse me. And you ask me to keep quiet.
Why is this Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's matter emotional? Why?
We should ask them. These are people that have been clamoring that they were not given opportunity to prove their case. The opportunity came. The petitioner started by saying that the committee is biased and she cannot lead evidence. I said, why can't you lead evidence in your case? You already have an affidavit. Just adopt the affidavit. He said, no. Just from one flimsy excuse to the other. Just like Obi Ezekwesili. She says she's a witness. Take oath so that you can tell Nigerians and the whole world all you know about this case. She said no.
Senator.
They actually came to disrupt the cities.
Senator, I'd like to ask you, in all of this, there are feelers as though there is a chauvinistic tendencies going around in the Senate, and that some of you who are men in the Senate do not have the air of patience or to accommodate the feminine voice in the Senate. It doesn't portray the Senate well.
That is wrong. Everybody has equal opportunities in the Senate, be you a man or a woman. In fact, in the Senate, there is no woman. We are all equal. Senator Natasha, who alleged also that the Senate president is silencing the voice of the female senators. This is a woman that have moved up to 6 motions. This is a woman that has to her credit 3 bills. The records are there. I can send it to you black and white.
The allegations on the day that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is talking about,
yes.
You were present in that house.
I was there.
You were behind them.
I was the closest person to Senator Natasha. In fact, let me give you
the
an
husband
account.
Was between...
Let me give you a brief account. On that fateful day, when we landed at Victor International Airport, as God will have it, I drove in the same vehicle, her vehicle, from Victor International Airport to the Senate President's house after attending other series of programs in New York. Yeah. That the SP invited us. We retired to Senate President's house in the same vehicle. When we go to the house of Mr. President, I remember vividly, she was complaining of her shoe paining her. She stayed back with the husband. I went up to meet the Senate President with other senators. Senator Stengu was there, Senator Dankwambo was there, Senator Sam of Bedouin said over 20 senators were there. The man took us around his garden and gave us a dinner. When it was 12 midnight, we all sang birthday song in honor of the Senate President. There was never a time the Senate President held her hand as alleged and made any unholy advances to her. It never happened in that
But you were not, but there were 2 of them.
I was
there. Said, there are words against the Senate President, but you were not at the moment, in the moment which she was talking about.
I was there at that moment.
Because she said her husband was right behind them.
She was always with her husband. If you watch the video, which I'll make available to you, she was at the right back side with her husband.
Would you say that the Senate has been fair? Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is said not to have been invited. Fair hearing comes to play.
She was invited.
Was she invited to
She was invited.
Was she invited?
We wrote her a letter.
Did you see the letter of invitation that was changed?
Of course.
And the sitting was brought back and they sat, and on that
I don't know about that. I don't know about. I got my own invitation as a witness. Petitioner got her own invitation. I believe she got her own invitation to be there.
Is it possible, Senator, because we are totally out of time, is it possible that you and your colleagues consider a political solution to all of this? This is messy and it's giving the Senate a bad name.
If you watch, no, it's not giving Senate a bad name. It's giving Senator Natasha a bad name because she is trying to prove the impossible. And remember, this is the same woman that have accused other prominent Nigerians of sexual harassment. And I'm disappointed that media is not going towards that direction. You people are not objective in your reportage. This is the same woman that accused one of you, Reno Mokre, of sexual harassment. When the young man brought her evidence that he was in America when the sexual harassment happened, you don't say anything about it.
Senator,
this is the same woman.
We need to go, Senator.
Yeah. No, you need to go into
Senator,
those because
is there a possibility of a political solution to this?
If you watch the suspension terms, we'll give a room for political solution. If she realizes her mistakes and tenders apology, not just to the Senate President, but to the Nigerian Senate.
All right, Senator, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.